So this woman said underneath a freshly made video, she was like, there are a lot more abusive men than you think, hence a lot of DV than you expected. Many are not approaching women loud and aggressive at first. They are great pretenders. Many change once you get pregnant, have a baby, or stop working to become a SAHM. At that time, they know they have you where you are susceptible to abuse. That's why women have stopped wanting to be tied to men and wanting marriage, not wanting kids, not wanting to be a SAHM. Other words, or in other words, women are getting smart, but we still have a few who get tricked into this life. But yeah, stay victim blaming instead of telling men to learn to regulate their emotions. No accountability from other men is why these men continue to exist. Obviously, you're a woman and you're overly emotional. What's your name? Haley. Obviously, you're white. So let's just get this straight here. You want to state that men aren't holding other men accountable. I'm not sure if you've actually looked online or if you know any men around you or in your family. Usually, whenever a man decides that he wants to put hands on a woman, you have men there that will react. You can even see this from younger guys. Back when I was younger, if a dude ever heard that somebody was about to put hands on his sister, him and his boys were going to jump. The same thing with the fathers and the uncles. They were going to do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter how old the person is. The hands are going to be put directly on that person. You have a lot of men out here that don't just so happen to play that. But see, the thing that you're missing here, Haley, is something that I've been able to witness and see throughout my lifespan, which is the fact that you have a lot of women that enable, they coddle, and they raise boys who are highly emotional and who happen to lash out specifically when it deals with women. And along with doing that, they also have no problems putting hands directly on women as well. But you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to bring that up because you primarily just want to have the focus directly on men and this and that. But nobody ever wants to talk about the home situation. Nobody ever wants to bring that up on how it is that when we are dealing with out here in society, that 9 times out of 10, this guy who is the has women that are backing him up, that are supporting him, that are hiding him away from law enforcement so that he doesn't face justice as he should. Don't want to talk about that or bring that up. Or how about the fact that a lot of the times when it deals with DV, and I clearly gave examples from when I was younger to when I was older, I clearly stated how I would tell women or girls, like, hey, don't mess with this guy. He's bad for you. Like, it could be a life ender. Like, you can end up abused, whatnot, or whatever. Hey, the way that he's talking to you is a little bit crazy. Maybe this isn't the type of guy that you should be with. And all of those times I would have, and I have it consistently replaying as a consistent reminder, I would have girls and women telling me to shut the up, telling me to mind my business, telling me I'm not their brother, I'm not their father, I'm not their pastor, whoever the it is that they look up to. They would make sure to specifically tell me very vocally, right? They wouldn't have this energy for the boyfriend that's beating their when they pregnant, beating their in general, that's sitting up there cheating on them and beating their and giving them an STD. They wouldn't have this energy. They wouldn't have this aggression towards that guy that's being aggressive towards her. They would have it towards me, which is somebody who actually gives a damn, gives a who actually cares. So then it comes to a point where you have guys like me that stop giving a we stop caring because we understand that girls and women are going to do whatever the it is that you want to do. And at the end of the day, that no matter what the happens, you're still going to go out there and be on your soapbox and you're going to, it's all men's fault. When realistically, it was men that told you not to be a dumb from the beginning. But this is what you wanted to do. You wanted to be a you wanted to sit up there and crash out. You want to sit up there and tell everybody that they don't know what the they're talking about up until some happens. Ergo, either you end up getting or you end up DV or both. And then you have a child in that same circumstance, that exact same man who perpetrated those crimes against you. And then you want to turn around and you want to look at, yo, how come nobody's helping me? How come nobody's trying to save me? Because you didn't want to save yourself. And then worse yet is the fact that you had a child with this man and you don't even want to save the child from the same circumstances that you've already faced. And then you want to get the online and try to posture yourself and blame all men. So where's the accountability for women who put their children, their families in a situation where they were already with an abusive man, but then they still decide to lie down with this abusive man and have kids with an abusive man, bringing children, a child or children, into an abusive household? Where is the accountability when it deals with those women? And it's a lot of them. Where's the accountability? Because there's always silence every time. How much do you want me to sit up there and blame somebody that's already up? He's a piece of he's trash. He shouldn't be doing this. He shouldn't have existed. There's nothing I can sit up there and do. But yet you as a woman could do a lot. You can move. You can get the police involved. You can get your family involved. You can leave all else at that house and decide to run. Better yet, I've actually did a live stream where I've had two of my moderators who were a part of abusive relationships, and they were telling their stories to a woman that is actually in a relationship with somebody who is abusing her, or at least that's what we got the gist of. That's what she told us. And even when my moderators were specifically explaining their stances, this dumb wanted to sit up here and laugh about the situation. And there's nothing that is identifiably laughable about any of those situations. And then to make it worse, the same woman that is talking about she's in an abusive relationship is now sitting up there talking about, oh, I don't know what to do. My daughter's in an abusive relationship and I want to sit up there and get her out. You can't get her out because you never got yourself out. You consistently went from abusive relationship to abusive relationship. Therefore, also having that child go through every single instance of whatever physical or verbal or both types of abuse up until the point that she ended up into her own relationship. And now you want to sit up there and come to me, come to my moderators, and you want some type of out on how to get your daughter out. Get yourself out of the situation. The moment in time that you put on your big girl pants and get yourself out of whatever that you put yourself in, that's the moment in time that your daughter can get out. But again, where is it that we have accountability for women who put their children in these circumstances of which these children grow up in and think that this is okay, so much so that they get themselves or find themselves in an abusive domestic violence situation? Haley? But yet you don't want to talk about that. But you consistently, just like a lot of other women that come to my platform, always 100% of the time want to blame the men as if they're 100% at fault, when really it's a 50-50. A relationship is 50-50. And when it deals with a person being created, you take 50% of the DNA from a man, 50% of the DNA from a woman, bring that together, you got 100%. So if we're looking at life, we're looking at creation in the same light where you take 50-50. You have to look at abuse, domestic violence, as the exact same thing. Nobody is the good guy in this situation. Everybody is a victim somewhere. But the problem is you have too many people that want to 100% see themselves as the victim instead of both the victim and the perpetrator. And a lot of women are the victims and the perpetrators at the same time because they allow those men to actually put hands and abuse them, even when the world is telling them, don't do this. At the end of the day, what I've come to realize is that a lot of women are stupid. And to that extent, I've in a sense stopped caring. Yeah. I guess with me not caring, you can sit up there and say that it's my fault as well because I stopped caring, even though I've tried to warn a lot of people out there. This person, who obviously didn't watch the video and wanted to get overly emotional, said this: you know, I get what you're saying with the whole doing it from afar, but as a man saying that, as a man watching a woman being berated, what happened to men are protectors and providers? Because y'all ain't been protecting. You had a woman stand up to this man. Not one man in that restaurant stood up on behalf of that woman, but another woman, sure. It's how stood the up? How the are you, mother, over here talking about men this and then that and then this when you're not even men? You're all a bunch of and that's why there are more of us women in our masculine energy and standing up for each other because we protect, we provide. Y'all don't do the and moan about the that we do. Y'all don't protect. Did nobody in that restaurant protect that woman from her abusive eyes husband? Ain't nobody in that restaurant tried to stop that man from possibly getting home and beating the out of his wife in front of that little girl, but a woman sure as stood up. Didn't she just for you to then turn around and say, oh, you should mind your own business. Oh, you shouldn't get involved in other people's drama. It might cost you your own life. Do you see the difference between a woman and a man and a if your thought as a man is, oh my God, I might die, you're a if your thought of protecting a woman, whether or not you know her, is whether or not you'll get in trouble, you are not a man. You need to start referring to yourself as a that you are. And for all us women who stand up knowing good and damn well it could be our last and still don't give a we're the real men you call us masculine. Okay. This is the first time in a while that I've had somebody actually write a paragraph, I guess trying to cuss out the video or cuss me out, going against the stance of whatever it is. I'm guessing that this is a woman that is writing that because I made sure to go through and reread and highlight some of those things again, by their own mouths, basically stating that they are women. And one is going this whole rant talking about how women are strong and how women are protectors, women do this and women do that, and men don't do anything. This is that feminist type of talk that you happen to see a lot. And I'm telling people that this is messing up a lot of people. For any man out there, if you ever hear a woman speaking like this, run. Run. There is no, even men on average don't just come out the house and just start cussing and using all types of vulgarity every 5 to 10 seconds. Like a lot of dudes out here have vocabulary. We just opt when to cut it on, when not to. But you have this person who is a woman on a public platform deciding that this is how she wants to present herself as a woman. This is the stance that she wants to make. And not only that, this is a specific example for a lot of guys. This is how a lot of women out there will try to provoke you into acting beyond what you should normally act in the realm of. This is how it is. This is the type of mouth that a lot of women will use in order to provoke a argument from a guy, where they want to provoke a physical altercation and so on and so on and so on. Because I'm going to let you know, if at any moment in time, a guy on the street referred to another guy in the street out of his name, those are immediately fighting words. So for a lot of guys and even young men out here, they're like, yo, what did you just call me? It's like you got 1 second to, in a sense, straighten yourself up real quick. You can make whatever apology, you can say whatever it is that you need to say to get yourself out of that situation before the waters start turning real murky real quick. Real quick, just 1 to 2 seconds, right? But yet, when it's a woman, this is what a lot of women tend to do. They know that society is already a double standard. So they already know that a woman can, in a sense, say certain things and guys are going to overlook it. If a woman, in a sense, on average, if a woman were to do something like this in public to a random guy, chances are very great the dude is gonna be like, yo, what you say? Like, yo, what's wrong with you? Like, somebody come, like, there's going to be a lot of courtesy, a lot of grace given, right? There's going to be, I'm telling you, an extraordinary amount of grace, more grace that will be given in that situation dealing with a woman than if it was a man doing that exact same thing. Right, and especially if his boys are there. Oh, if you said that to another guy and his boys there, oh, it's on site. Everybody gonna be putting hands and feet directly on you. You about to get jumped. Now, if you're a woman and you decide to do this, and the dude's boys are there, they're probably gonna be laughing and be like, they're at a dismay, like, yo, what is this? Like, what is she on? Are you on drugs? You on coke or something? Like, what's it? Right? Again, there's gonna be excuses being made. People are gonna try to like, yo, maybe she's mentally ill. This is that. There's gonna be a lot of grace again given. Nothing is going to automatically go to a physical altercation. So again, I'm just trying to, put that directly out there for a lot of guys, just in case they've never seen this type of stuff before. Again, be very wary of a woman that has the vernacular of such, right? That this is the way, this is her, as the one girl said on the balloon pop, her everyday speak, right? Again, this is this woman's everyday speak. However she presents herself online, this is her in everyday real life, right? And looking at the whole thing, I'm trying to figure out on how I should even, respond to this. I'm like, are you a man or a woman? Like, I'm trying to figure out, because there's a lot of words I want to use, but again, you try to get to a point where you're better than those directly out there. Well, at least in this circumstance, right? And like I said, it's amazing to me that people can literally watch a video that's about a minute, maybe about like a minute plus long, and you don't happen to see the black dude that literally took a sign, slammed it on the ground in order to give the dude a warning, like, hey, yo, man, you don't want to do this. Like, hey, if you come back in here with this and you're coming towards the women behind me, yo, we gonna be fighting, right? It's gonna be me, this piece of iron, and you. That's what it is. And then the same person who's quote unquote a woman talking about ain't no man stand up to this dude. Are you smoking rocks? What are you on at this moment in time? Like, you're so far gone with this feminist, iron woman, hear me roar type of nonsense that it's like you didn't see the black man at the end sitting up there standing in between the black women that were behind him and the dude that was at the door leaving. You didn't see that? Like where are we at? Like, wow, there's a lot of stuff I want to say, but I don't feel like taking out the time to edit my videos because of all the cursing that I would literally be doing for about a good 10 minutes. I don't have time. I'll probably say that for a live stream. So I will probably just, do that. But again, it baffles me how it is that a lot of women are so wrapped up on or caught up on the smell of themselves so much that they can't see what's directly in front of them. If you ever have a woman out here that tells you that you need to just be recklessly throwing your life as a man, you got a woman out here telling you that you need to recklessly throw your life at any given whim whenever a woman is in distress or whatnot or whatever, run as far away as possible. That is a Red Dead 2 redemption setup. That's the same thing as a woman being stuck under a horse asking for help and then you get jumped and robbed and damn near killed. Don't do it. Don't do it. She's setting you up for failure. And show this to other women in your family and let them know. Ask them, for any guys out there, ask any woman in your family, would you advocate with this person's comment where they want a son, a father, a grandfather, a nephew, whatever older male in the family? This woman is advocating for them to just freely throw their lives away for any woman directly out here just because she's in some type of distress, knowing the fact that you, that man, are not going to be able to come back to your mother, your grandmother, your daughter, your niece, whoever it is that you protect in your family. You're not going to be able to make it home because this woman wants you to throw away your life for every other woman directly out there. It makes no sense. It's illogical. This is what I'm talking about when you have people that wants to throw their emotions in a conversation where there is no room for emotions. There's no room for that. And then specifically to whoever this is, because I forgot what your name is at this moment in time of this recording. For whoever you are, I just want you to know I was specifically speaking to black women. So again, looking at your name, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are, but I can more than likely tell you, you are not a black woman at the end of the day. And more so specifically, I was not speaking to you. So you better make sure to sit up there and use that same aggression and anger towards the men in your community and your family. And I promise you, you won't. You're not going to do that. So if you're not going to speak like that to them, you're for damn sure not about to just break neck and decide that this is what you want to sit up there and do here. So that's your one and final call directly on that. Just to let you know. Right? Again, this is a man actually showing grace. Because if it was anybody else, it'd be a little bit different. You'll just get blocked. It's that simple. She said this, what baffles me is that out of all of the issues in this video, you share it so you can belittle women. You are so bitter. Here's some insight. Not everyone will listen to what you say. Did you ever think that maybe you don't seem like the type of person anyone would care to get advice from? Glib, biased, entitlement, misogynistic. This is how you come across. Now, as your clean slate women, are you so naive that you don't realize that majority of the time, this stuff happens after they have married, had children, or moved in together? Women are not so stupid. They run to be with men that mistreat them. I assume that's why women don't run to you. You seem he is just as cruel to women as men that are physically abusive. Stop addressing black women. How about you shut up? You can't because you like to hear yourself talk. Shaking my head. This poor lady, instead of hoping you can draw awareness and educate people with her story, he just uses it to put women down. Sad. Okay, Lord, this is a lot of comments. Um, how do I put this? I guess I don't care anymore, in a sense. And what I mean by that is that no matter how I've tried to educate, no matter how eloquently or educated or how I've tried to pronounce whatever words that I use, I always found myself in an area of which I would see black people wanting to state or call me a variety of things. I've had black men insinuate things or wanting to fight me. And then I've had black women trying to insinuate that either I'm gay, dating a white guy, or don't like black women, don't like the black community, or all of the above. And here I am looking at the exact same thing where I see what appears to be a melanated woman, black, list me as entitled, misogynistic, and even maybe I might have read it wrong, but I can't really tell, but potentially abusive. And then the other aspect where she stated that maybe not everyone will listen to you. You're right. I've learned that over the years, and I'm fine with it. I wear it as a blanket at night, actually, knowing the fact that no matter what information I decide to put out to the black community, no matter if it is, helpful, if it is about building, if it's about finances, buying back the block, how to treat each other better, how to find self-love and knowledge of self, how to love one another, how to get over a lot of things, how to get rid of self-hatred. No matter, the variety of topics that I've covered, and even in certain instances, I've tried to use my own life experiences or even my own, self in a lot of examples. I know, factually speaking, that a lot of black people won't listen, and I'm fine with that. Maybe in the beginning I used to have an issue with that, but now I'm just like, I'm whatever. If people don't get it, if people don't want to hear it, I am completely fine with that. And the clean slate part, that was more so speaking on the fact of women, and I could have sworn I said this in a video. It's more so dealing with women and girls who have never been through abuse. So they don't have the battered woman syndrome or any of that type of stuff going on. They're just purely not listening to the people that care about them, and they're just flocking to the worst of guys for whatever reason. Either they're attracted directly to the guy aesthetically, or because physically he can do something directly to him, all of which are spells pretty much, and it's going to lead down one road, which is lack of value, lack of love, lack of respect, and abandonment and sorrow. and a broken heart. And you're listening to a guy state this because he has seen this, um, happen so many times. And then you stated that I was bitter, sweetheart, champ. This has nothing to do, zero at all, with being bitter. This has to do with a man that is tired of looking at young girls and grown women run to and make the exact same mistakes as the women before them. There are books out here for women, and I'm not talking about books that you can read. I'm talking about the books that women naturally carry. And for whatever reason, it seems that a lot of women don't want to impart that knowledge to a lot of these young girls or these young women out here so that they will learn some type of self love, knowledge of self, and value so that before a man even comes into the picture, they know their own value so that anything that a man has to offer is pretty much an add-on. They can do with or they can do without, right? And that's something that I've preached for a very long time. But I can tell by your comment and many other women directly up here that you guys don't happen to listen at all. Even if a guy is trying to convey or plainly in English state something directly to you, you're not going to hear it. You're not going to listen. As you stated before, not everyone is going to listen. And clearly, when I explain everything that I stated in that 15-minute video, you didn't hear what it is that I was saying because you got triggered and you more than likely just cut off at one point. Because statistically speaking, I can see how long people normally stay directly on the video. And I can tell you that a lot of people did not stay for the whole 15, I guess it's like 15 minutes of, the video, statistically speaking. Right. So within that, I can tell by comments and I can see, how it is that people happen to respond. This is why I'd sit up there and tell people that, hey, you should maybe watch the whole video. Maybe you should also watch this video as well to get a further understanding as to why I have the perspective that I have. But again, like I said before, once, people seem to be triggered, they cut off everything else and they'll just stay directly in that trigger spot. And then they'll just leave to never be heard of, ever again. So, yeah, it's crazy. And then what was it? Last but not least, you wanted to say I just like to hear myself talk. Actually, no. No, I don't. I actually hate to bring up the fact of being, in a sense, correct about something that I wish that I was wrong about. Like I said, you don't know anything at all. You're just making assertions and guesses and theories and not even actually understanding why it is that a person would have a perspective, such as this. And like I told somebody else in the comment section, I have two beautiful moderators who are Black women, and they also have kids. They are DV survivors. And they each gave their testimony to a woman that was going through, at least for what we understood, was going through a DV situation herself. And all for them to share and be so vulnerable with another Black woman for her to just laugh in their faces when they're trying to convey and they're trying to understand and help her understand, and they're trying to, make sure that she's okay. All to see that Black woman just pretty much laugh at what it is that they were trying to do. So yeah, I'm at a point of when I see women like that I know get disrespected. Yeah, it turns you a little bit slightly cold, because if two Black women who are DV survivors are trying to be vulnerable, and this is on a platform, this wasn't in private, this was in front of other people that they were explaining this to, that they didn't have to sit up there and do this. And to see that happen, you couldn't even imagine the amount of anger that I had towards that one because of how she just laughed in their faces. So like I said before, a lot of women will never understand the viewpoint that I have when it deals with this. In a variety of different ways, I've tried to help or enlist help or convey that, people do actually care, or where it is that you could go get help, or all of these other types of things, all the videos that I've done over the years. But, like I said, your opinion is your opinion. If you believe that I'm violent or misogynistic or bitter and, all these other things, so be it. It is what it is. But as I've told people before, it would behoove people to actually do some research before talking on things that they know nothing of. I feel like this is probably the lightest one out the bunch, so we're going to do this. This person said, I tried to listen to the video, but to blame the woman is disgusting. There's a lot of factors that go into a lot of these relationships, right? So we're going to skip over the other comment. We're going to go to the last one. That woman said it was giving bitter because the woman he wanted didn't choose him. The whole thing with being bitter, I don't even understand it. I just want people to understand, like, bitter, that was never really in my vocabulary up until I started seeing women just repeatedly state this over and over and over and over and over again. Um, just to clarify for anybody out there that may be confused, me talking about personal experiences or experiences that I have seen or what have you, it had nothing to do with being bitter. It had everything to do with being that quote unquote shoulder to cry on, being that brother or support or whatever it is. And a lot of women don't understand that for certain guys out there that are during that time, let's say, high school, you're going to be put in the friend zone, right? So you're pretty much the guy that's going to listen to all the sob stories and all this other type of stuff. And then, you're there supposed to support and also give advice on what best a woman or a girl is supposed to do. So again, this has nothing to do with, them or the women that I wanted not choosing me. I could actually care less. I was more so on video games, playing basketball, Yu-Gi-Oh, in a sense, minding my business. Like I said, it's all good. But again, it goes to the effect of showcasing that young girls and women don't like listening to people who genuinely care about them. And I felt like I clearly actually conveyed that. But for some odd reason, when men try to convey stuff to women, it gets lost in translation. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus type of thing. And I'm just like, I clearly said this in plain English. So how it is that you got bitter out of everything that I stated makes no sense. It just seems like you're projecting, and you're more than likely one of the ones that have actual great guy friends there, and you don't listen to anything that they state. And you, like a lot of other women, are consistently running into the exact same type of guys that are not beneficial for a relationship, a child, marriage, or what have you. Right? Or better yet, some women will sit up there and say, well, I'm not looking for a relationship. I just sit up there and stay single because I want to do bad all by myself. So be it. Whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. The other person up there said that, listening to the video, but blame the woman is disgusting. This is what I've told people time and time again. If you are a woman, and I mean this from every fiber of my being, so I don't want anything to get misconstrued. I'm going to say this as I'm going to try to convey this as clear as possible. If you are a woman and you are in a relationship and it's abusive, you have full on right to waste your life however it is that you want to waste it, because it is yours. At that moment in time in life when you are with that man, it is yours to waste. You can throw it away all you want to. Nobody cares. It's cool. Do what thou wilt. Do it. Like Nike. But when you are a woman and you have kids, your life is no longer your own. Your life belongs to those kids. Those kids are your main priority. Those kids are above anything else that you want to do in life. Like, of course, you got the main things such as, eating, shelter, a job. Right. That's all good. But when it deals with personal things that are not needs, like, you don't need to be in a relationship. If you are raising kids, you don't need to be in a relationship. Let me put it to you to a better circumstance, a personal experience. I knew somebody at one point in time that I was with, and I met them directly online. And, you're going to sit up there, of course, be ecstatic. You're young. This is the internet. You meet somebody online. It's like, hey, everything is working out, right? The one main thing I also sat up there and told her, and this is coming from a guy that she, in a sense, wanted to get to know, boyfriend, all this other type of stuff. I told her specifically, I'm like, you are a young woman with a child. Never at any point in time should you ever do this ever again. Because realistically speaking, from a man's perspective, you don't know who I am. I could be an axe murderer. I could be anything directly out here. And you allowed me to come directly into your home, to be around your kids, and you don't know me from a can of paint. That is vastly dangerous. And I use that example. And I told that directly straight to her face. And I said that because I care. Because I wanted to convey that no matter if we're together or not, that this is not something that you do. You do not tempt fate. You do not risk not only your life, but the life of your child. You don't have that right. When you are a single woman, you have the right to sit up there and risk your life and do whatever it is that you want to do. When you are a woman with child, you do not have that right anymore because your life is no longer yours. Your life is that child's. That child is your main priority. So I don't care how lonely you are, how lonely you feel. You're going to feel that up until that child is good to go, up until they're fine and dandy. It might sound bad, but at least you rather be safe than sorry. Because like I said before, there are too many instances that I've covered on this channel where women have literally allowed a guy that they didn't know from a can of paint to come directly into them. And now the family doesn't exist anymore, or something else drastically happened, or maybe the mother is no longer in existence because she specifically didn't know that guy. Again, like I sat up there and told her, I'm like, yo, you lucked out, because I'm a guy, I came from a single parent household, so I care about family, I love kids, and your family seems great. So it's like, for me, it's, everything was everything. I didn't have any problems. Her mother liked me, her father liked me, her sisters liked me. There was no problems. I just specifically told her, as somebody who cares, don't do it again. Don't do it again. And like I said before, even no matter how much you care or how much you try to convey these things, a lot of women will still do the things that they want to do. They will still go out here and take a risk because women are emotional and they want to get the things out of life that they want to get out of life. And they're not going to allow anything to stop them, even if they have kids. They're not going to allow anything to stop them. But like I said, even when I convey it in this manner, a lot of the people that have an issue with me in the comment section and want to leave and write these comments, they're not going to show up to videos like this. They're not going to, listen to this example. They're not going to hear, the voice that is just talking and not hollering and cussing out folks, right? Because that's not what people like to hear. They don't want to hear somebody that's trying to, convey something from a logical standpoint, something that should, make sense. But like I said, these are, people's opinions. They see me as, bitter and all this other type of stuff and refuse to actually listen or even try to understand the point of view. It is what it is. And again, this is why a lot of people end up lost and they end up in the circumstances that they just so happen to end up.